Every year Samsung releases a new flagship phablet in the fall, and every year it has Samsung's best display, fast camera and performance, and a stylus. This year is no different. The Galaxy Note 7 sees the return of expandable storage, the arrival of water resistance, a new Super AMOLED display that supports mobile HDR, a Retina scanner, and an improved S Pen. The Note 7 is a gorgeous looking device and you can clearly see the focus on details. It's the first in the Note lineup to have a dual curved glass design. It's also the first waterproof Galaxy Note and the first to be perfectly symmetrical from top to bottom. The Galaxy Note 7 also marks the first Samsung smartphone with a USB Type-C connector on the bottom, and Samsung has even supplied a micro USB adapter in the box. Not to be outdone by the Galaxy S7 family, the Galaxy Note 7 brings back the micro SD slot and is also waterproof. And in case you were wondering, the new S Pen is waterproof as well, not to mention you can scribble even underwater. Speaking of the S Pen, its tip is now thinner and the screen can recognize twice as many levels of pressure. Oh, and you don't need to fear breaking its functionality like last year's S Pen. Another novelty, and one that was expected in the last Note, is the iris scanner. It's an added security to the fingerprint scanner and is very quick to set up. It also unlocks the phone incredibly fast, but needs an extra swipe to be activated. Not to mention that you need to hold the device up to your eyes each time. The fingerprint scanner itself doesn't seem to have been changed. It's as fast as the one on the Galaxy S7 Edge and very accurate. Samsung didn't increase the screen size on the Note 7, but instead reduced the bezels around the screen and made them curved almost as much as on the Galaxy S7 Edge. This makes the Note 7 feel like holding one big seamless display. The 5.7-inch Super AMOLED is very sharp and bright. Colors are naturally vibrant, but there's also a more accurate screen mode. The Galaxy Note 7's display is the first to support HDR video, the technology that's been lately finding its way into the high-end HD TVs. Given the proper content, it can display a wider range of colors, as well as blacks and whites. Keep in mind that currently there isn't much HDR content available for the Note 7 to take advantage of. The new Galaxy Note 7 comes with a tweaked TouchWiz running Android 6 Marshmallow. It has a few noticeable changes, such as the new lock screen, which changes its colors when you tilt the phone, and the redesigned quick panel. The Galaxy Note 7 has also borrowed the Edge features of the Galaxy S7 Edge. You get Apps Edge with shortcuts to favorite apps, People Edge, Weather, a calendar, and more. Naturally, the S Pen functionality is an integral part of the Note experience, and Samsung has updated it. For starters, there is the Samsung Notes app, which collects everything you do with the S Pen. You can create GIFs with the S Pen by recording part of the screen. Samsung has added a few features when you hover the S Pen over the screen. You can magnify anything as well as translate on-screen words to a language of your choosing. With Glance, you can have a floating app over a full-screen one. The problem is that you need to select each of these functions individually, making them unintuitive to use. Finally, you can jot down notes on the locked display with Screen Off Memo. You can pin those notes so they're visible on the Always On screen. Speaking of, there is a choice of a lot more new clock and calendar designs for the Always On display. And you can customize them further by mixing the colors and backgrounds of each screen. Samsung's multi-window is here too. It allows you to have two apps open at the same time. And finally, there's security. With Samsung Knox, you can set up a protected secure folder. Inside you can store documents, photos, and even apps you want to remain separate and only accessible after you authenticate with either iris or fingerprint scanning. Despite weighing about the same as its predecessor, the Galaxy Note 7 packs a larger battery. The new Note lasted notably more in the video playback test and a bit more in the browser one. However, the endurance rating it scored wasn't much more impressive compared to the Galaxy Note 5. The battery supports Fast Charge 2.0 and the smartphone can also be charged using a fast wireless charger. There are no surprises when it comes to the chipset, or rather chipsets of choice on the Galaxy Note 7. Like the Galaxy S7, the US Note 7 uses a Snapdragon 820, while most of the rest of the world gets the Note 7 with Samsung's own Exynos 8890 chipset. Both versions carry 4GB of RAM, though we're sure many people would be disappointed there aren't 6 like rumors suggested. If this comes as any consolation, the Galaxy Note 7 performed admirably in our benchmark tests. on par with the Galaxy S7 family. Real-world performance was flawless too. This is definitely one of the fastest smartphones around. The Galaxy Note 7 uses the same capable 12-megapixel shooter of the Galaxy S7. It has a large sensor and bright aperture, along with a great dual-pixel face detect focusing technology. The camera app has been simplified and can now be easily controlled with swipes to get to the shooting effects, the shooting modes, or switching to the selfie camera. Samsung's Pro mode allows you to take full control of parameters like shutter speed, ISO, white balance, and focusing. The photos themselves look almost identical to the ones from the Galaxy S7 and S7 Edge. They are contrasty and saturated, but a bit over-sharpened. The Note 7 appears to have a slightly improved dynamic range compared to its counterparts. The brighter optics and optical stabilization allow for some great low-light shots and are nicely exposed. It's only at pixel level that these images show lack of detail in favor of less noise, but it's nothing out of the ordinary and in line with the performance of the S7 family. The Galaxy Note 7 captures great 5-megapixel selfies, which do a nice job of exposing for a person's face. As for video, the Galaxy Note 7 can capture 4K footage at 30 frames per second. These Ultra HD videos are packed with detail as expected and also carry over the beautiful, vibrant colors and sharp, contrasty look of the photos from the camera. If we deem the previous Galaxy Note 5 as a misstep for lack of expandable storage and the limited regional availability, the Note 7 is Samsung's way of getting back on track. They've brought back the expandable storage and they've added the waterproofing and the dual curved screen. After all, why choose between a curved screen and an S Pen like last year when you can now have them both? Some criticize the Galaxy Note 7 for being nothing more than an oversized Galaxy S7, supposedly lacking any of the innovation of its predecessors. But the design actually looks and feels different in person. Then there is the iris scanner, the reversible USB Type-C, and the improved S Pen. So what's not to like? The Note 7 is Samsung's best smartphone right now. It not only fortifies the lineup's position as providing the best user experience with a stylus, but it's once again arguably the best phablet money can buy.